like the same there? How is it? You guys can hear me well there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, how is it there?
We just learned about the tools and
The
the
tool.
layers.
Okay, good, good, right. Is there any exercise that you have did for those subjects?
Haven't yet.
Or just an introduction on the tools lah? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't open up my webcam there. All right. How many assignments basically that Miss Poon actually going to plan to work with you guys? 3.
3.
All right, 3 assignments. All right. Sin here, right? You already got your tablet, is it?
Yes, I already got mine.
All right. Anyone who don't get those tablets yet? Anyone? No?
Me.
Oh, Shinhee. Right. So for now, basically, you're still working with the uh, pencil or drawing pen in a sketchbook or on paper, right? Have you submitted those works?
I don't know. So I use the mouse to draw. I don't know.
All right. I'm not recommending you guys to do those exercises using mouse, okay? Because the most important thing about our exercise is to learn to develop your drawing strokes. So if you're using mouse, you won't be able to get the right kind of understanding there. So
So so only paper or pencil, right?
yes, if you not actually have those tablet yet, don't force yourself to draw using mouse. Because if you drawing mouse, the main objective of this exercise will not going to be, even though it's good for you to practice some of the tools theoretically, you want to know, learn about it, okay, but don't use it for a part of your submissions. You know why? Because if you actually didn't use tablet, if you actually working with those mouse, for example, like this lah, right? Even though you have the right brushes, but of course, if you're using mouse, uh, normally some of the brushes, drawing pen brushes or brushes that actually have the different kind of quality stroke that we want, okay, will not going to be appear in our menus here, okay, brush menu here, okay. So that means it's not that appropriate. Like if you teams have this kind of difficulty, for example, like you draw something like this, right? They're not going to be, the objective of this exercise will not going to be, you're not going to be have those objective the right way. Okay? There's no point there. All right. So one of the best thing is at the moment using pencils, that's it, okay, because you don't have to worry
Okay.
about that. Do you know when actually you're going to get those tablets?
Already buy. I want arrive.
Okay, that means you will get those tablets, right?
Yes.
Okay, don't worry about that, okay? Because my kind of opinion, my kind of what we call that point of view there, okay? If you get late, okay, those tablets, okay, you're not actually using them at the moments there, at the times, not until our end of the semester. So, all right, okay? You don't have to be worried that you're going to be fall, what we call that, fall behind, right, over the exercise here. You know why? Because normally you are working with the computers, I'm not worried too much there. Okay? You give your right small children's to work with this kind of device, for example, computer device, right? They're going to use it, right? They're going to get to know about it, okay, in a very short time, right? There's nothing much that you have to worry there. The problem is right now that we need to worry there is whether we can develop our understanding how to develop the right kind of strokes here. For example, here they're right. Oops. For example, when you draw using those tablets, but the lines look like this. Huh? Right? The line look like this. No quality of line there. Remember that. I would stress this kind of mistakes every time when you do those words, because they will going to be affect the whole ideas of your what we call the education or learning process. Okay, when it comes to develop your kind of understanding when we want to develop our illustration skills. Okay, that's why I asked one of your friends just now, they're right, about the line, okay, the strokes, the brush stroke that you use here. What kind of brush stroke that you use here, they're right. Okay, because it's really important for us to understand there, okay, why actually we're going to use the line and strokes here. Okay, Kahuang there, okay, take a look back again. Right, this is the third drawings there. All right, when you test those brushes, so even though you have the few kind of example of the pressure point that actually try to work there, okay, but still in the earlier process here right now, right? So we need to improve a little bit more from there, right? But some of the drawing line that I saw from here, there's a very quality line of strokes there, right? But if you check look closely to this object there, right here, and to this object here, there's not much kind of analytical kind of line drawing that you can see from there, right? So line drawing, understanding to control the line were really important in terms of, right? You see there's the what we call that, the shapes, right, of these areas there, okay? If you take a look closely there, right? Same goes to these areas. It's not that right, okay? Obviously. So, but in the meantime, I would accept it, but it's not a part of the way that the main objective that we want to develop our understanding at this time. Okay, what we can do from here to improve. Okay, remember about what basically we have done before. Okay, make sure that okay, when you use your brushes and strokes, they're right. The size of the brushes has to be around 10 points. If you use 150 dpi, but this kind what we call that arrangements there, okay, setting there, okay, 10 points, 150 dpi there, okay, for the resolutions there, A4 size. If you increase the size, that means the point of sizes for the brushes might going to be changed. Why? Because the smooth kind of way of working with those brushes there, they're going to be affect also the space, the way you move your hand. Okay, one. So today or this week, after you actually have what we call that, have learned to get used to the tablets there. I'm not trying to harsh you guys there, right? Okay, but sometimes we have to hustle a little bit, right? Okay? That's why that's the way we can actually push ourselves there, right? Okay. First of all, when you sign in your name, let me record first. Later on, when I talk a lot already, I forgot to record. Okay. Oh, I recorded it. Okay, good. Okay, now, okay, remember one thing, right? Okay, when you actually start to draw, okay, or test your brushes there, make sure you test first whether you can actually sign or not. Run smoothly with your tablet there. Okay, okay. When you sign your name there, right? Can you get enough kind of confidence when you sign your name? Right? Test first. Always test first your way of working with your tablet there. Our signatures is a part of the drawing, you know. Okay? People who actually can sign, for example, here, like more confidence like this, that means you can draw. Okay? Basically, you can draw. Right? Okay? So test with your brush strokes, right? With sign your name there, right? Right? Sign your name there, right? Okay? First thing. Always test first. Don't sign like this, huh? No quality of line there, right? When you sign your name there normally, right? There has the quality of line that actually appear from your line. Okay, you can see those confident line from there. Okay, understand that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So now, when you will start to draw there, okay, I want to give you guys this week exercise going to be more into line there first. I want to make sure that you guys can actually develop this kind of quality of line. Okay? We call it a digital observations drawing. Observations mean, right? Even though some of the object that you can see from these pictures is not that very clear already, but using your left hand or right hand to move around the line, to move along the pictures there, right? So what I want you guys to do by using 10 points of the sizes, using drawing brushes there, right? Okay? Please using the drawing brushes, right? Make sure when you draw the brushes, they have this kind of quality of line, right? That's it. I don't want to be specific, right? Okay, what kind of brushes there, but I'm using all medium wet fluid brush. So I want you guys to take a look how actually I draw this line there. The line will be continuing line, right? Okay? Whether I'm going to start from here or here, it doesn't matter, right? Okay? But find a very comfortable kind of area that you can start to draw. Okay? If you take a look closely of this object, right? Okay? It's not actually a flat shape. It's not a flat shape like this. Okay? There's a round or curved kind of line over here. Okay? And then when you move around here, move back again, and then you can draw these areas there, right? They have also some of the curved line there, right? But it's okay if the line is not that straight. It's okay there. But the thing is right now that what you want to do, you want to develop your kind of understanding here. You're going to draw some of the areas from there, right? These areas, just moves around there, right? I want to see how well you actually control the line here. Space bar to move, right? Draw the structures there, right? The curved line over there. How about the circles over here? Press a little bit and move, but control the strokes there, huh? Control the strokes. One stroke at a time, right? Don't draw or what we call that. Please join all the line there, right? Control Z if you make mistakes. If you feel not comfortable with those lines there, right? If you can saw the shadows line or shapes over there, use your line to draw them back. Right? Practice it. Shadows line over here there, right? Use it to draw those lines there, right? Do you see the shadow shapes? Look carefully when you draw them. Okay, this is the highlight areas. Okay, you see those lines there, right? If you go back into this subject matters there, this is not flat shapes there. There's a curved line over here. Basically, it's oval shapes there, right? If you repeat those drawings there, right? Okay, if I repeat those lines there, right? You can see those kind of oval, what we call that curved kind of shapes there, right? They've been formed from this line. Draw carefully, zoom into work area. The way to find that this object, I can't actually recognize that. Sorry there. Okay? See the shape there, yeah, draw. I really can't recognize the shape there. I don't know what basically is this. So those are the weakness sometimes when we actually want to draw or learn to draw the right. By using computers, we don't have a very clear kind of pictures that it works. See, the quality of line that I actually try to draw is not about whether the drawing is nice or not, right? Okay, but I try to define the quality of line. The line that I actually draw will basically are going to be continuous there, okay? Some repeat kind of line there. So if you take a look right this area, there's a shade of so what I can do when you draw a very smooth kind of shapes of shadows there. No shadings there yet. No shadings. Okay, why this exercise is really important then? To understanding there, to see all the things when you draw in details. Because we develop this kind of understanding of drawing, right? By working with the real life kind of what we call that exercise there. We're not actually doing tracing there, right? But it's not there, right? Because normally when you draw something, you just simply draw. Look carefully to the subject matter. If you really want to drawing, always look carefully to your subject matter there. Try to get, if you take a look how actually I draw right now there, right? Try to get as similar as you can to get the right. So even though the strokes are going to be different, everyone has different kind of stroke, but to control my hands here. How actually I control my hands here. Even though you don't know okay, what basically right I'm trying to do here, right, the divide between the form and also the shadows there. Okay? Even though you still have no ideas what basically this guy is doing there. Just follow basically the line first. Right, can you see there already? If you take a look at the whole pictures there, right? If you miss some of the area, like this one there, right? Okay, this is the end of the bottle, say the bottom of the bottle there. So practice your eye to have a more sensitive on the whole structures there. right? We want to create our sensitivity, our senses there, right? So this is basically our exercise. If you can develop this kind of understanding back again, that means you're in the right way. All right, for those who have done this exercise before, all right, using those tablets there right here, I that most of you guys not did the right kind of methods there. I believe that right here when I look at your drawings right here. Okay, what we can do from here. I try to make it the pictures here, okay? Use this right, okay? Because if you have these pictures here with you, right? If you open up your new files over here, right? They're going to be, the width are going to be 8 by 11 there, 150 dpi, right? So what I do next, if the picture is supposed to be portrait, use portrait format. Okay, remember that. Don't be too naive, okay, just to follow exactly sometimes what I did, because if you think, oh, this kind of photos basically is a portrait, okay, that means they're going to be a little bit more height right from there. So work on that. So now, guys, take a look here how I actually draw it in the same kind of way of drawing, right? Can you see the shadows areas over here and the highlight over here there, right? Okay. So whatever happens outside basically is a one of the space that we call negative space. This one basically a positive space there, okay? You must be able to see the difference between where the size, the structures, the line, the stroke, the length of the negative and positive space, right? How far basically from this, right? Chin, all right, to the hands. All these kind of things is matter when you start to develop this kind of senses when you draw them, all right? So the alignment between this length to this length, right? This length to this length, right? Are going to be, right? You need to aware that, okay, when you draw this, okay? So before that, okay, we develop our drawing skills that basically. When I start to draw the hair doesn't look shaped like this only, right? It's not like this when you draw, okay? This is what we call tracing, all right? When we learn to draw the structures and strokes, this is how I actually draw the hair. You see the line over here? Can you see also my hands when I move? All right? Can you see that? But when it comes to draw the shapes of the ears, that I'm going to do that. See? The patterns of the ears, they're right. Wavy line, solid strokes of line, they're right. Okay? How to define shadows and shades using line. Okay? If you have saw some of the drawing kind of techniques like this, okay, and some of the reference, okay, from internet, whatever it is, okay, that means you're in the right time enough journeys to learn to develop your understanding there. Differentiate between shadows and line, okay? Now, the jaw, then the lips. See how I actually draw the lips there, right? Very smooth kind of line there, right? Even though I'm starting with the different kind of areas, I still can manage to get the line of the eyebrows there. And then the eyes. Shadows, line, and shapes there. Learn to understanding and study basically the shadows, line, and shapes there. Okay, this exercise is just like you using your drawing skill to draw some patterns there, like the map patterns there, okay, from those pictures. You see that? Without this kind of analytical kind of studies with the line, whatever things that we're going to go through later on, you will find a lot of difficulties there. Keep focusing when you draw, and of course, okay, all the things will take. Be patient there, if you will. The shadows line over here, a bit. Sometimes you say, oh, what actually he tried to do? What I need you guys to do is follow exactly the way I move my hands there. The good thing about digital medias or new our technologies nowadays, they're right. Can repeat back again how actually I did all this stuff. See the way I move my hands there, and I draw them back. Shadows areas over here. Right? Remember, guys. Okay, there's two different things between tracing back again with drawing there. Right now, okay, zoom out a bit because I want to see more closer, right? Which part basically the armpit there actually muscle that actually point over there. So right now, if you check look closely there, okay, how actually I did my kind of job there, right? It's not all about the tools there, but the skills there. Right? Their skills and understanding and knowledge also really important to develop your kind of way of working there. Right? These areas, okay, maybe it's not too clear there, right? I'm going to increase a little bit, and then, sorry, and I'm going to redraw. Okay, maybe I'm going to stop right here, right there for the drawings. Can you see that, right? The quality of line that actually that we try to develop therapy, the shadow shades therapy, the patterns of the shadow shade. Of course, when you paint it out using your soft brushes to add some shadings, they are not going to look like this. If they will look like this, some people will find it's quite weird okay, about the shadows there. They look like a pattern more than the shades of the muscles there. But from all this kind of what we call that uh, developments there, it will show whether you really understand how to work with your hands or not. Okay, this exercise is really very, very serious there. Try to develop this kind of understanding, way of working, all right, when it comes to learn to work and draw using the shadows. All right, it's not fair basically if I'm going to use only tablets to work there. If I want to draw right here, and I see that I could check this. Okay, observation exercise that is okay. All right, the problem is right now, have you gone outside? Who is it then? Just learn to interrogate. What is it there? Driving is fun though. Scary. Just learn 2 times there. Alright. We're talking about driving things there. Okay? So now you have to learn how to drive also using your hands. Right. Alright guys. Okay. So if I want to draw, alright, using the line itself there, right? The thing is I don't have those references, okay? Okay. I want to imagine, okay, but how actually I'm going to draw them the line? Normally this exercise, we need to have a reference that works. Okay? We need to have the reference that works. Without reference, right, the drawings exercise won't be happens there. It's not going to be happens. It's not going to be conducted in the right way, right? Okay? But I'm going to use basically my kind of power of understanding, right, just to you guys how it works. Because the exercise were basically important there, guys, okay, to learn about observations line here. Okay, equations, I don't have the reference here right now, right? I just try to remember what I actually did there, okay, with my kind of drawing is not right, okay. So the drawing exercise will basically, it will take a bit more kind of challenge if you really want to develop your kind of working there, right? Okay. Using your hand. Normally the drawing are going to be continuous line drawing here. But I just want to show you guys how actually the things are the way the techniques are going to be work. Alright? When it comes to draw manually there. Okay, manually there. Okay? But the challenge when you draw this observation exercise is you're not going to draw the structures like I used to draw in the previous kind of drawing there, okay? But we need to do this kind of continuous kind of line there. But the point is right now, the line that I actually use were basically the same line that I actually tried to draw, right, using those tablets, okay? The line there, you see that? They're going to be the same. I'm using ball pen, not using pencils there. So for this exercise, okay, for for those who actually doesn't have those tablet yet, okay, please use your right ball pen that works with it. Okay, do you guys understand how it works?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Who thought basically this way of process of developing or learning is quite hard there? Right? Is it hard there? Right? Okay, one of the points is right now, right? If you don't actually, if you came to this point, you never actually draw before, right? You never draw before, for example, right? This is one of the methods how actually you can improve your drawing skills. Okay. So before we get to go into more design some characters for your first assignments and design some trees or whatever it is, right? They're going to be the same. I would recommend it, everyone. Don't just draw based on what we have, right? Okay, what actually we're going to do, basically, the right thing. Let me see there, right? I would say that if you want to draw anything, for example, right? For example, like trees, buildings, maybe a little bit difficult for the line, but you can try that. Okay? For example, if you want to draw some trees or whatever. Right, trees. Maybe a lot of you also see, oh, to draw trees quite difficult, so right? Okay, yes, of course, right? If you know the right kind of techniques, that it works. But don't draw something from cartoons there, guys. Okay? Don't draw something from cartoon images there yet. If you want to develop your skills, okay? Try to draw from real pictures. Always use the real pictures, then you draw them. All right, if you have the question basically in yourself, how actually I improve myself? I'm drawing all the time, okay, because that's how actually you're going to define the element of design. I'm going to find some of the images, pictures, right? But at my times, everything we draw real life, okay, using real life pictures, real life kind of subjects, okay. So I bring the sketchbooks, okay, when I have finished the class there, okay, and at times when I have finished the class, I normally, okay, inshallah, okay, our university actually inshallah. So what basically I do normally after class, other than my kind of objective at times, not only learn to draw, I'm going to watch some girls there, right? A few girls actually walking around there at that times. So my kind of activities basically go into those lake there, I think. We have a Tasir Shah Alam, I think. Shah Alam Lake, I think. There's a lot of girls over there. Watch them, right? I think. Then I draw something, right? Because most of people, okay, we have around, like you guys, 100 over kind of batch people okay, in our batch there. So of course, as a guy, okay, who do want to watch some good things, right? Okay? Watch some girls there, okay, and make some friends. So those are my activities there. So I bring my sketchbook along. So because everyone had their own objective, okay, doing some sketches, practice themselves, develop their kind of understanding along the way, right? Okay. So what I did also the same thing. So when we actually have this kind of chances that to learn, all right, what I actually do, I will put myself in the positions. So let's just say I have this kind of photos with me. I didn't give this photo to you guys, right? Right. So I would spend to draw any. I don't actually spend a lot of time basically, even though I have my activities, okay, at midnight when I have done the assignments there, okay, or during my break of time there, okay, I'm going to do other things like draw some comic characters, okay, paint them back, right? Okay? But whatever elements that I actually saw that I can actually practice myself right here using the develop those quality on, I would do that, right? Okay, so I'm going to practice more beyond the assignments or the formal kind of routine that we actually should do for our assignments or our weekly exercise there, right? Actually just doing for the assignments there. So I'm going to doing more just to have my own personal kind of activities to develop my skills. Okay, guys? Those are the things that I try to do. Always do that, to practice myself. Because as my actually right lecturers, teachers, guru says that right, you have to practice every day. Practice every day. What else that I want to do there, okay? Because times no, the only entertainment that I have music there. No YouTube channels, no video games, right? At the times because we don't have any computers or phone there, right? I didn't have my own smartphone and smartphone from the PTP. At that time it's not PTP, and there's a scholarship also there. They get those money from the scholarships and buy those phone there. But I didn't do that, right? I would rather to practice myself, right? And serve myself, okay, to develop my skills. Because I cannot afford to fail anymore, right? When I actually further my studies. Because I failed twice in my formal education still. Right? I have a SRP that I cannot PMR, not PT3, but SRP. At my time in Form 3, I took twice, and then I take another twice for my SPM, right? Okay? Before I can, what we call that, include myself, okay, to be in our private, in our not private, uh, government kind of universities that I think to let to, because my dad doesn't allow me to go to Lincoln Wings at the time or one academies because I don't know, maybe because they want to save a little bit kind of money is there, right? So I have to struggle a little bit on my study there, learn something that I don't like maths there, because I failed all these exams. I failed because of maths. Right? So I'm struggling a lot, right? To pass my SPM, just to let me to go right into uni there. Okay? What I like to do that in life there. So that's why I really time, but I'm enjoying myself there. Right? So if you look at how actually I draw this one, this flower there, using the same kind of quality of line. You can see that, right? The lines look like a map kind of lines here. So I would like to practice more, all right? To develop basically okay, along the way, right? I would spend a lot of time there right, to draw. There's no such thing, a shortcut way to develop your skills, guys. This line over here, even though it's very right, if you think about logics, there's going to be a gap between the line, but I didn't draw that. I just controlled it on the strokes, right? Soft kind of line of strokes here, or the shadows. Everything is about line levels. Yeah. All right, they're using spacebar to move and draw. Okay. Everything is actually in your hands. If you have your tablets, it's good. If you don't have, use those ball pen to draw them, right? Okay. Because the techniques are going to be the same. Even though the difficulty when you draw manually, you can actually draw on top of it. Unless you print out your reference, Okay, when you print it out, and then you're going to draw on top of it by using your light box directly, but we're not going to do that. So it's very good enough for you just to draw basically, right, manually for your own eyes, using your eyes, that's it. Right, can you see the line itself? Different kind of line, right? There's a quality of line between thickness, thinness. I think we have 1, 2, 3 different kind of line there. That's what we call the quality of line that we work with the element of design there. Okay, the patterns over here, this is what we call textures there, right? Okay, it's one of the element of design there. We're not going to work on that. Okay, focus, study on this, your line and strokes there, please. I would say spend a little bit more time, Sophie, to get to know yourself. Drawing is all about to get to know yourself, to find yourself back again. Just find your soul there, right? Search your soul of it. So some of the soil over here, right? If you really enjoy working with it directly, with this new kind of tablets here, you will gain more. You will gain the benefit more. You guys? Okay, don't draw only the outline. Some people just draw like this, you know. Try to draw one stroke of shapes at a time. Study the shapes at a time. Okay? Alright, this fundamental exercise is not only can be applied in exercise only. There's some other times you can use exercise beneficial for design your own illustrations. This is also a part of styles there, guys, to develop the styles of illustrations. And of course, I want to remind you guys at these times, don't choose which style do you learn the whole thing from our lessons, even though you think that you can draw well. If you just choose your styles at the moment, if you decide at the moment that at its time, okay, because sometimes people, right, I have a few students, they think they can draw well. I'm good with it, but you don't face the real world yet. Right? Whatever that you do, that sometimes it's all based on, yes, some people actually doesn't like to talk about the reality of works there. They always praise you or whatever it is, right? Okay? But the real world later on is not that. Not all people praise you because they like you there. Sometimes, right, I don't like people actually just talk good on me, but basically not there, okay? Or they're not there, okay? Hypocrite there. But if you say you don't like my works, it's okay. But if you're honest right now, so basically for the student, right, I'm here to teach you guys the right way to work. Okay? The right way, no matter what it is, this is one of the best exercise for the zero knowledge of drawing skills. Zero knowledge of drawing skills. Go into any art school in the world for the fundamental kind of lessons. Fundamental is not basics. Fundamental is a root to develop your skills. Right? If you have the tree without a root, you have the house without the structures. The house are going to be collapsed, falling down directly. They're not actually developed a strong kind of foundations. Why we call foundations there, right? Develop our strong core for your skills. Okay? Strong core for your skills there, right? Core there, right? If you have a very strong core directly for your skills, you can draw anything you draw. But of course, they will take different challenges there all the time. All the time. I'll face different kind of challenge in every of my works there, right? In my design works. I'm not saying every single work are going to be the same. Even though the process might going to be the same, but the result are going to be different. Okay, are going to be different. So those makes the works challenge and interesting. All right, challenge and interesting. All right. Any questions so far?
No.
Any questions? Hmm? No? So do you guys get a clear ideas how to work with it? Even though, yeah, some people say, it's quite hard, okay, to control the tablet, okay, it takes time, that guys, takes time. But make sure that you develop enough chemistry with your hands. Mm. Remember about the connections there, the key element of connection between our senses that develop our eyes, mind, and hands connection there, right? Coordinations that we call them, okay? Between these three parts of our senses there, okay? Because what we actually develop right now, not only how to use the tools, all right, how to use the tools, but of course we try to coordinate between these three parts of our body there, okay? Eyes, mind, and hands together there. People who can draw well, basically they have connected this kind of coordinations. To make all these three components of coordination work, it takes a lot of efforts there and the right kind of way to exercise there. Okay, so you have spent your money on the device, tablet there, right? Okay, and you have me to conduct your lessons there, okay? What basically you need more there, right, from there? Other than you guys can also browse from the internet, Google, YouTube, right? Okay, some of the techniques. I give you guys a direct kind of way how to work basically directly using those tablets and combine the techniques in traditional way, because there's no such thing that when you actually work with the drawing skills or drawing tools in computers, you cannot combine you cannot combine these two disciplines together. You have to combine them, right? Otherwise they're not going to be happening. That's why we will look, some people still cannot actually improve their skill of drawing because of they don't learn basically to coordinate between these three elements together. Okay. Okay, about today or this week exercise, I want you guys to reuse back again all those pictures that I give you guys. Okay. If you take a look in our, because it's okay if you find your own pictures later on. Our favorite. How many? Pictures that I shared, I think. I don't want to give you guys new pictures now. Maybe I'm going to give you guys one or two extra pictures there. All right. Let me check here first. Okay, we have the human figures pictures. So the last first week when you draw, maybe you haven't get the goal. right? The right kind of movement or strokes there, right? Okay, for your drawing here. So I have give you guys how many pictures? One, two, three, four. All right, four pictures here. I'm going to go back into this week 3. I'm going to upload back again. From here we have around 10 there, right? Okay, for this week, all right, let me check. We're going to mix them up already. So nature is a bit, uh, call that, yeah, call it, okay, some old card already. It's quite interesting here, and also a big challenge there. Some old buses there, right? Quite nice. I love to see this kind of old junkyard cafe. For some people, okay, when you look at these pictures, it's just a pictures there, okay? For art and design, for illustrations, it's an art there, right? So we're going to collect these pictures, all right? It's an art there, right, okay? The compositions, right? I want you guys to draw the whole thing, but the line has to be that obvious. Okay, turn it to grayscale, I guess. Turn it to grayscale first. Oh, very interesting there, okay? Very nice there. I really love this kind of junkyard kind of pictures there. It's good for us to study this kind of pictures. Right? It's all kind of cars there, right? Look at sports car there, right? Good. What else we can do there? Okay. Maybe some tall wooden houses there, right? Ah. So that means it's not too boring for our exercise here. But most of it is from games. Okay, this is more like a 3D games. Right? On the old pictures. Some look nice here. For the landscapes. It makes them art. Okay, the line only there. A lot of textures there. Hmm. So why actually choose all this kind of old kind of stuff? Because there's a lot of component that you guys can play around with your line and strokes. Right? Modern houses is too sleek there. Hmm. Bikes there. Old rack bike. Bicycle or bike there. Okay. Right. This picture also have a lot of quality of those element of design there. Okay. That's why I choose this kind of. I try to choose this kind of pictures there. Which one there? For example, like this one there. I have a very quality, good quality of line there. Okay, but what is it? See, you draw the object, right? Not the whole. Don't draw the whole landscape there. Draw the objects only. All bicycles, see, this knife there, but that looks like a stop there. Mm. This one look nice also. Well, this is an art form there basically, right? So it's good for us to appreciate all these kind of things there when it comes to drawing. I can not only draw cartoon characters or manga styles only, like you saw basically how actually I introduced you guys all these kind of drawings there before there, right? But don't just restrict ourselves to do this kind of all these kind of lame kind of pictures there. Right? We try to develop, yeah, this kind of things here. Mm. Look, we had those photo back there, right? Oh yes, they're right. Which one there? Maybe puppy there. Because there's a lot of passages so we can study from here. Okay? Only draw the only clean kind of what we call that puppy that we can actually study from there. Right? Check okay whether we have a few good pictures that we can use. And I bet you guys also have this kind of challenge, okay, how to draw the fur there, right? Okay? Oh, it's quite hard to draw the fur kind of line. So let me challenge ourselves there. Which one there is quite suitable there. Don't have a blur kind of effect. Let's do that one. It's quite not not suitable here. This one look hilarious a bit there. Too dirty there. This one look like a guy human face there. Hmm. Which one there, right? At the moment I can't find it. Okay? This one that is quite accurate to study over this one should practice line. I think this one is suitable. We try to see whether you guys can take those challenges or not. Some trees. Yeah. Okay, week 3 exercise, right? All right, quality of line. The titles are going to be emphasized on the quality of line. Okay. So far, you have any questions? Anyone have any questions and inquiries? All right, we have around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This one. All right, the object there, remember. 11. All right. Do you have any questions there so far? Tin Yi. Sleepy, yeah.
No, my eyes look like
Huh?
this.
All right. So any questions there, guys? Do you have any questions that you want to throw to, okay, to ask me anything there, right? If you have some other question like, where do I start? Where do I go? Because I didn't name on the brush. Okay, please name your brush here, guys. Okay, so can I resend the brushes? Yes, can. Okay. Please do rename the brushes that you use, because if you can recognize the brush that you use directly, it's easy for you later on to remember them, and you're going to use back again, right? To name those brushes all the time, okay? Because when I actually find my kind of suitable brushes that I use directly for my works, I didn't change a lot, but if I use new versions normally, right, new versions, of course I'm going to what we call that, I'm going to experiment also with different kind of brushes there, okay? So I just want to give also the same kind of pictures over here. We have 11 just now, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? Okay. Okay, we have the 15 photos that I gave you guys for this week, right? Don't delay or doing this exercise last minute there, okay? As I told you guys before, when I like you guys, I will draw all the times. I will use my time to draw all the time. Don't delay yourself, right? So I'm going to give you guys also some example on the line that we should be applied, okay? Exercise on the line over here. So this is basically, right, the quality of line that we need to apply there, okay? Not the pictures only. Found this picture is also quite interesting there. Okay. So we have around, if I'm not mistaken, 16 there, right? Pictures, reference that I actually gave you guys that to look at. The way of drawings are going to be the same, but the difference is how actually you're going to manage with your line and strokes there, okay? And I'm going to give you guys also the samples here, to the quality of line that we should produce. Demo for week 3, group 1 there. This is one of the drawings. These are the drawings. See the difference. Line drawing there. Okay. Just now, this is the drawing that I actually show you guys there, right? I'm also going to be include on this reference here. give you guys the samples there for you guys to have some use. Where is it? Get this one first. Let's save the file that first. Okay, then maybe I'm going to save another one there. So right now, okay, this week we got around 16 kind of pictures reference that you guys have to complete, okay? Okay, for this exercise there. As I told you guys, maximum of drawings that we need going to be complete, right? It basically around 20 there, right? Okay. But right now I give you guys 16 to complete that first. Why I give you guys a lot of exercise? This is the only way for you guys to improve. Don't treat every exercise that you're going to do in the same way there, okay? Make sure every drawing that you're going to create, you will find small kind of improvements is more than enough there, okay? You can see the changes there. Make sure you can see the changes there. If you can see the changes, the way you draw, you move your hands, right? You better ask me or go or consult with me back again. Please do, okay? Don't just stay away because normally when I have normal kind of session of classes, a lot of students actually, even though they don't know how to develop the skills, they always keep quiet there. Right? So don't basically use that as a part of your kind of way of learning, right? Because you have to interact with me, right? What are the issues that you have? So we can actually discuss a bit more from there. But what basically I showed, that's it, right? Right? Unless if you think that you say, okay, I saw from YouTube's right, from the internet, the way that they draw is different, right? But if you think, right, that kind of way of working can improve your drawing skill, go ahead. But you have to show the results there, right? At least you can send me on the personal message directly on WhatsApp directly. But if you find it's quite difficult, go back to my kind of tactics there. Because my technique is fundamental techniques. Everyone do the same thing. It's not my techniques there. It's not my kind of personal techniques there. I've learned also from other people's there, right? I learned also I been trained by other lecturers, by other gurus there, right? Okay? I'm not actually learn the whole thing, all these kind of methods by myself there. Because I used also to draw like you guys. I'm always used to draw using a lot of erasers, don't know where the right tactics there. So it takes not only 1 or 2 weeks to go to be good at what I do there basically. Right? But my kind of suggestions, draw more, that's all. If you can draw, practice yourself, enjoy yourself, training yourself, they're right. You will find a lot of benefits, not today only. You don't want to have the result today, but you have to keep on going there. Don't give up on yourself. Okay? That's how actually I done that. But always enjoy myself learning and process and draw anything that I want. Right. From those 16 pictures, if you think that you want more, go ahead. Let's just say, okay, some people say, so can I draw from my own reference there another 4? Go ahead. Okay? But don't stop drawing them. If you stop drawings, if you stop doing things, but you don't do everyday kind of progress, you won't be able to see the difference. You have to make it this through the drawing that you have as a part of your routine. It's a part of your blood and sweat there, right? Your bread and butter there. Right? It's like if you don't eat one day, you feel not comfortable, right? You feel hungry, not comfortable, right? Just like eating, right? You have to get your energies every day, eat something every day, there, right? For us, like fasting, maybe, right? We train ourselves in certain kind of season there. But normally, right, like me there again, we eat every day there, right? Or some people, they will fasting like we call that twice a week there, okay, for the normal kind of routine for the Muslim there, okay. But in normal day, everyone eating every day, right? I eat every day, right? Okay, all the time, maybe some six times a day that I eat there, huh? 6 7 times depending there, right? Okay. So that means it's like we put some energy in our body there, right? Same goes to our skills. You want to put your energies to your skills, develop your skills, you have to draw every day. Okay, enjoy the process, right? So the best thing is using those tablets there, right? You got 2 semesters to develop the skills. Hopefully, next semesters you become an intermediate. Okay, at least you can become intermediate kind of students, design students who know how to use those tablets in the right way. Then the only thing that make you change how actually you are going to seek for different kind of techniques to develop your illustration skills. Okay, this semester we focus fundamentals, but it's not basically basics. They're going to be affected your way of working in the future. Okay, any questions there so far? If you want to share, all right, okay, your progress, straight to my website, okay, go ahead, better the right, because that's how actually I can know better from your words. Because normally, if you just share with me right here, okay, on our Google Classrooms, first of all, I can't detect the individual kind of works. Right? Maybe I have a certain ideas, okay, overall kind of looks of your works until I will evaluate each one of you. But if you go directly, I will know basically, right, okay, who actually have, do you have a certain kind of problems that we can actually improve from there. Okay, all right, okay guys. So if you have any questions, okay, basically last few seasons I actually sell durian there, right? I enjoy sell durian there because I have a lot of free time other than teaching there, right? So I have my friend as a suppliers there, right? Suppliers of durian there, okay, you can get not quite cheap, but I can sell quite reasonable price there. Normally I sell durian around not more than 20 ringgit, I think. E24, IOI, or something I can get before this season there, okay? I can sell around 18, 20 ringgit, okay, for B grade there, okay? But only one or two only season there, okay? And then the price can vary. But I enjoy eating. My family like to eat durian, but I'm just so like I'm not that kind of hunter durian. All right. So thank you for having me today. All right. So thank you for having in our sessions here. Hopefully you guys gain um, a lot of understanding knowledge from here. All right. So I really hope that you guys can develop the skill from this what we call that lessons there, because coloring and shadings we're going to go through next week. All right, back again. Last week, basically, I give you guys a very basic kind of understanding there. It's a very subtle kind of quick kind of what we call the shadings there. Maybe next week we're going to go through a bit kind of fundamentals like using a shade back again, and also some lasso tools, but without controlling the right kind of lines. Okay, like I saw that like Kahuang is not there, right? So improve back again your kind of line, Kahuang directive, and I want to show you guys one thing there. All right, Kyle. Oh, stroke still. Does Kyle ultimate there. Ultimate brush there. I think you guys have used this one there. Brush there. Okay. You guys can see this one there. Okay, this sample of brushes that we have here. Okay, from your version, not my version, because I've used this one before. Let's slow it down. We check back again. Alright. Pencil, charcoal brushes, of course. The size of the brushes you have to change into 10 point at least there, okay? Okay, 2D pencil brushes, 3D pencil brushes there, for curl brushes. All these kind of curl brushes there is suitable for us. Okay, this ball pen also can be used, alright? To develop your kind of drawing strokes there. So if you use the new version of brushes there, right? This is some of the ultimate mega pack of the brushes there. And you guys can actually browse back in and check whether you guys get these brushes, or maybe you can download those brushes if you want to there, okay? Or, but the one that actually use is all medium. It's a wet flow brush, the wet flow brushes in Photoshop. Basically, you guys can download them, right? Three brushes over here. All right. But this all media wet flow brush, well, basically just like what I've actually used there. This is a very standard brush, so that's why maybe they are not actually quite popular nowadays there. Okay. It's not quite popular nowadays there. Okay. But if you take a look at the new versions that you actually use, alright, that ink box, okay, a rough ink there, right, okay. Tal is one of the newest brush you guys can use, right? Develop your pencil heart also help, right? Charcoal pencil, pencil heart can be used to develop your design on strokes there. Other than soft brushes later on to add some shadings, or watercolor brushes to add some shade on shades there, right? So explore from there. Don't be shy to use those brushes there, right? And see the difference. All right. So anything else that I missed? You clear about those exercises for you, right? Okay, we got around another 4 weeks to go, hopefully, before we're going to go through with our assignments there. But before that, after we're going to learn about line shapes, a bit kind of texture later on, because we can combine together, right, develop form and structures. And of course, we're going to go into develop the structures line later on, because we having the right kind of lines here, right? Because I'm afraid if you're going to learn about basic structures, okay, to develop the structures line, okay, human structures line, okay, structure drawings. Right? Because if you want to go into this kind of gesture strokes line, right, it will find a lot of difficulty later on if you don't handling the strokes well. If you cannot handling your line and strokes well, right? Because we need to go through with this kind of exercise here. Where I'm going to go through kind of thing, okay? To draw human characters there, female characters there. Even though we have the reference with us that we can draw on top of it, but the basic structures you have to understand earlier there, okay? Anatomies, right? Okay? You have to understand earlier there. So always practice them, okay? And the way that we're handling the stroke also will be affected from our fundamental lessons. That's why I'm going to stress a lot on the line kind of drawing. Okay, guys? So if they have any questions then, size is going to be A4 format right here, going to be A4 size. And practice your brush strokes. Use the reference that you have and use that model. Okay? If you take a look at my previous kind of demonstration things on Monday, there, right? I show you guys also how to draw those anime characters using the line and strokes. So make sure you take a look at back again how I actually draw them. And then if you want to try them, go ahead. Right? I don't want to restrict only 16 drawings based on my reference or choices there. If you want to draw something based on your interest, go ahead. As long as you can actually develop your skill from there. Those are the most important thing about the lessons. Okay? All right. So thank you very much. All right. I think a lot of people actually have freeze the screen there. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Okay. So for having me. Right. We can dismiss early today. So hopefully you guys right enjoy right the demonstrations here. All right. And good luck with your exercise and have a nice day. Take care of yourself. All right.